My 25M father 55M had an affair with my fiance 25F. My mom died 4 years ago from cancer, and me and my fiance used to go to my dad's place for dinner. Nothing unusual about that. He was lonely, but lately his mood had improved, and I was about to find out why. So yeah, my dad invited us over to dinner. And then after dinner, him and my fiance told me they needed to talk to me, which was odd to hear that my dad needed to tell me something. Turns out they have had a sexual relationship for over 3 months, and me being a moron, I asked how many times. I was starting to hyperventilate at that point, and they were both reluctant to share that number. I eventually got the full story. I won't write that here. It's painful enough, and I feel stupid for asking. So, I walked out and left them both, and told my dad, "You want her? You can keep her. You are both finished with me," and told my fiance to give me the keys to my apartment. She was crying as she was struggling to get the key off her chain. I did it for her, gave her other keys back, and told her I would pack her things and she should come over and pick it up when I was finished. When the day arrived, her mom came over and picked up her things. She actually sent her mom to do it. I let her in and she had gotten the full story and was so sorry for everything and hoped I would get through this. My dad, and I guess now my ex-fiance, have been calling and texting me for the last week. I have not responded or answered any of their calls, and my dad even called the cops because he was worried I might hurt myself. Oh geez, thanks for the concern for my mental health, Dad. Maybe you should have considered that before screwing my fiance. So, I get the 2 officers at my door who told me they had received a call from my dad worried I might harm myself. I told the officer I was not suicidal and explained what had happened, and they both looked disgusted and apologized for bothering me and what I was going through. The look of pity from the officers made me feel worse. I felt just ashamed having to tell those 2 guys that. Not sure why I felt ashamed, but I did. Anyways, Dad wants to talk to me. I have no idea what to do here. I have no other family, no aunts or uncles, and now no fiance either anymore. I have kept busy by going to the gym and trying to live my life as normally as possible. My fiance has moved back with her parents, but she is apparently still in contact with my dad since Dad keeps texting me that she is worried about me. Apparently, I am the a-hole here since he feels that I should not treat her this way. So yeah, I am the a-hole here apparently. I mean, what do I even do here? I have ended it with her clearly, but then there is my dad who is now trying to fix things and wants me to forgive her. I honestly just want them both to leave me alone. Update 1. Hey everybody, thanks for all the messages and advice. I did not expect this post to blow up as much as it did, but I just wanted to post an update on how things stand. First of all, I am doing okay. In fact, I have slept well these last few nights and had support from some unexpected places. Many of you wanted me to go public and tell everyone. Well, I did not have to. My now ex-fiance took care of that for me. She told her best friend expecting sympathy, but instead she raged at her, and now most of her friends and mine are now fully aware of what has happened. Her best friend called me and we spoke for over an hour. Apparently, whatever angry thought I may have had regarding my now ex-fiance was nothing to what her and her friends subjected her to. They have completely cut her off, and they even asked her if she slept with any of their fathers. Her best friend also told me that she still believes I will forgive her and that she wants me back. Not happening, and seems to be a little, shall we say, unstable right now. She seems like a total wreck. I also spoke to her parents and told them to give her time and don't kick her out. Despite what she did, I don't want her to do anything stupid. Her parents are probably more pissed at her than I am. I also met my dad and we spoke in person, and honestly, the reason we spoke is that I wanted to pick up some things from home. I had a friend of mine with me just in case I felt the urge to punch him. He made no attempt at small talk, and my friend was walking very close by me, like he was expecting me to attack him and was ready to restrain me if it happened. So, that's the update. GF is a nervous wreck, dumped by all her friends. Her BFF and I have become good friends. No, we are not sleeping together, but she has supported me and we have kept talking on the phone. She had been cheated on herself, but she could not even begin to imagine what I went through. Honestly, I feel okay. I have cut off my dad completely. Afterwards, I got some of my mom's things, including her wedding ring. I told him I am taking this and he did not argue. And then I said, "You can have this," and gave him my engagement ring. Not expensive, and honestly, I did not know what I was going to do with it anyways. He just looked at me, and now finally, it dawned upon him just how badly he had messed up. I also told him to stop telling her that I may forgive her. You are messing with her head, and she needs to realize it's over. He said he would not contact her again. I told him I don't care if he did or did not. I got in the car and left and felt a lot better. So that's the update, folks. I may have gone too far with the ring business, but honestly, if he wants her, then he can marry her. I have had great support from many people, including here on Reddit, and I'm ready to move the hell on. But if you have any questions, I can try to answer if anything is unclear. Final update. Hi, just decided to post one final update since I have been bombarded with questions on how I'm doing and if anything has happened. I am doing okay. My dad and my ex-fiance have not contacted me at all and have left me alone. I have had moments where I felt angry and lonely, but I had people who have been there for me. My ex-fiance's BFF and I have gotten close, and we decided to go on a trip, just me and her. We are not together, but we have gotten close. Dad and my ex-fiance, like many predicted, have been talking, and someone spotted them together in town. I kind of suspected it would happen. It honestly does not bother me. They deserve each other. Just thankful I found out before I married her. Many people have found out what has happened by now. My dad and my ex-fiance have also lost a huge part of their social circle. I guess with so many people disgusted by them both, they found each other, and misery loves company after all. I also made it clear to my other friends if they want to contact her and talk to her, that also does not bother me. I don't want to control anyone or make anyone feel that they have to stay away from her because of me. I am not going to be a vindictive a-hole. That only hurts me in the long run. So, to summarize, I am doing okay. Still seeing a therapist and have gotten close to my ex-fiance's former best friend. I do get depressed and feel anger and loneliness sometimes, but I've learned to deal with it. I spent an entire weekend cleaning my apartment to get my ex-fiance's perfume smell out of my apartment, since that was a bigger trigger for me, and I decided to buy a new bed and a new couch and redecorate it a bit. So, with the old bed and couch gone, it honestly feels like a new apartment. A fresh start, if you will. Thanks to everybody for your advice, concerns, and comments. They helped a lot, and I needed to vent about it. Okay, you guys can't see it, but the punctuation in that post was so bad. This guy does not know what commas are. Periods were few and far in between. I had a stroke and a seizure all at the same time reading that. But now about the story. Maybe I've read enough of these, but when I heard that the best friend contacted OP, I was like, they're gonna get close. I've read that so many times. I don't know what it is, but I knew it, and it happened. So good for him. Glad he's in therapy. And dad, ex-fiance, come on. What are you doing? Anyway, next story. Story number 2. I, 24M, am worried that my sister, 26F, has feelings for my girlfriend, 24F. My girlfriend and I have been together for 2.5 years, and we have a really great relationship. My sister and I have always been so close, so I was really happy when she and my girlfriend met and hit it off right away. They got along insanely well, and it's awesome, or was awesome. It might be important to point out that they are both bisexual. Everything was normal up until about 3 months ago. They started hanging out together more often than usual, taking day trips and having sleepovers and going for dinner, etc. I didn't care about it initially. I thought it was cool that the two most important women in my life were such good friends. Then my sister, Amy, started making comments saying that if we ever broke up, she's first in line to date my girlfriend, Emily. She calls Emily her wifey and follows her around like a lost puppy. Amy says that Emily is our girlfriend, and I swear she gets jealous when I interact with her. Then, last week, I got home from work, and as I walked through the door, I could hear them chatting in the living room. This isn't out of the ordinary, but it was what I heard that really bothered me. My sister said, "Holy crap, I have such a crush on you," in the most lustful voice I have ever heard. I really hated typing that. Emily laughed and their conversation moved on, but it really didn't sit well with me. So later on, I asked Emily what they were talking about. I think context is important, and she told me that they went shopping earlier in the day and they were doing a little fashion show for each other. She said those kinds of comments are normal between girlfriends and it's nothing to worry worry about. It made sense to me, and I trust Emily. I decided to talk to Emily. I asked her how their shopping spree went, etc., and then gently asked her what the crush comment was about, and she got very defensive and accused me of being jealous of her relationship with Emily and then told me to grow the hell up. I'm not worried about Emily doing anything behind my back to betray me, and I never have. There's just something about the way my sister is acting that irks me, and I don't know how to approach this without blowing up any of our relationships. Update 2. 2 days after the first post. There have been some developments. When I got home from work yesterday evening, I found the two of them on the couch in the living room watching a movie. I decided that I should just get it over with, so I sat down in the seat across from them and said that the three of us need to have a talk. I basically just asked them if there was anything going on between them and mentioned how much extra time they've been spending together and acting almost as if they're dating. My sister immediately started sobbing and Emily just looked really sad. Amy couldn't speak through her tears, so Emily filled me in. Turns out Amy has been going through a really bad breakup and not taking it well. Amy's boyfriend cheated on her with multiple women and gave her an STD. I guess it ended in a big blowout and he trashed her place and threw her around. 3 months ago, Emily noticed that something was wrong and asked her what was up while they were out for lunch. Amy couldn't hold back and spilled all that happened to Emily, and then begged her not to tell me anything until she decided what she wanted to do. Emily started staying over at her place for a few reasons, helping her fix up her home, support, etc. Then, Amy found out that she's pregnant with this a-hole's baby, and her mental health plummeted. Their extra hangouts were mostly to do with prepping for this baby/pregnancy, including the fashion show, which was maternity wear for both of them. What I was perceiving as jealousy from Amy was actually a longing envy of the solid relationship that Emily and I have, not an actual crush on Emily. The crush comment and wifey nickname were literally just girly comments in their words. Amy was reactive to my questioning because she was so deeply betrayed by this guy, and being accused of doing that was very hurtful. I didn't even know that Amy was dating anybody. Seems that the a-hole has left the Providence and Amy doesn't want to pursue anything legally. She just wants to move on and be happy. They are 6 weeks apart and were planning on telling me about the matching pregnancies this coming weekend. So, in short, Amy and Emily are best friends. I'm going to be an uncle and then a father, and I get Brother of the Year award, not really, for not noticing that anything was going on with her. Okay, be honest with me, especially if you've been to this channel before. How many of you thought that the girlfriend and the sister were actually doing something? How many? I thought I was. It's my skeptical self. It's the fact that I've read hundreds of these now, so this is a better ending. I mean, she's gonna be a single mom, so that's kind of suck. But you know what? She's got her brother and she's got the girlfriend there with her. So good for her. Go Canada. Next story. Story number 3. My 26M girlfriend 24F told me she is pregnant, but I'm sterile. I am from a Southeastern Asian country and my first language is not English. Backstory. I got into an accident after my college and will never be able to have kids. None of my family members know of this. They know about the accident, but not about this. I have always wanted to be child-free, so it did not affect me much mentally. I have finished my master's degree last year and never dated before. I got a very high-paying job directly through campus placements. My parents immediately wanted me to get married after getting a job, but I wanted to work on myself and explore a bit. They said no, and I said that it was my wish. All my life, I did what they wanted, and for the first time when I talked against them, they were not happy. This was last year, and they gave up after COVID started. So I picked up some dating apps and went through them, but no luck. Then my parents introduced me to a family friend's daughter, and we clicked, kinda. Looking back, I was a fool though. She said yes to anything I said, and never complained about anything. I felt kinda weird about it. I wanted her to express her interests, but she always said she was interested in whatever I do. Well, I did not think much about it. I said that I won't have kids ever, and she surprisingly said, okay. I was like, dang, she's probably the one, as it is very hard to find a partner who is child-free in my country, or at least I thought. But we were in the initial stages, and I have not told her about my accident. Long story short, we had sex a month ago. I used condoms because safety first. The next day on, she started ghosting me a bit. I thought it was due to my performance in bed and wanted to give her some space. Then she texted infrequently and only replied okays and Ks and one-liners. I thought maybe she wanted to end the relationship and I was sad, but left it at that. Yesterday, all her family came to my house and she claims she's pregnant and the father is me. Needless to say, I freaked the hell out and wanted to collapse on the ground. I did not say anything while they were talking about marriage and stuff that needs to happen because I got her pregnant. Please advise me on what steps to take now, Reddit. Update, a day later. Let me start off by saying I'm very grateful for all the Redditors who took their time to read and give me advice. I was overwhelmed by the amount of comments and how many of you said it might not even be my kid. Looking at it from a different perspective gave me much more insight on the whole situation. I called my boss and took today off. I called up some clinics to get tested and was given a slot on Friday afternoon. Then I went to the store and bought some pregnancy tests and asked her only to come to my place tomorrow, i.e. tomorrow morning. I also called my parents, and before I said anything, my mom asked me if I had any good news. I was shocked by what she said, and I asked her what exactly she was talking about. She then played dumb, and I knew that the situation was more screwed up than I thought. I cut the call and cried all night till 3 a.m. Grown-ass man crying for the first time since 8th grade. She came today morning with her parents even after I told her to come alone. They were under the impression that I was going to discuss engagement plans with them. I told them to wait outside and called her in and they threw a fit. I told them they can all go back or let her come in alone. They said okay. I took out the pregnancy tests and gave it to her and told her to prove that she was actually pregnant and told her where the bathroom was. She started screaming at me. Never done this before. I was shocked at this. Then she went out the door and called her parents in. Now everyone is screaming at me in my own home because I asked her to prove the pregnancy and not even a DNA test. I told them to screw off, and 1 hour later they came back as well as my parents and they all spilled the beans. She was never actually pregnant, as many Redditors said. My parents were afraid that I was getting old for marriage and wanted me to marry and give them grandchildren. They said that in arranged marriages, there's no need for the people to actually get to know the spouse because parents only choose the best for their kids. They planned this all and were only waiting for me to have sex with her to do this. I broke down and cried again. All my life, I did exactly what my parents wanted, always scored high and never asked for anything. I told them to get out and never talk to me again in between crying, and they said parents know what's best for their kids and I should do what they say. Then I got extremely angry and told them to screw themselves in my native language, which was very bad. For once, I think they knew I was serious with them, and they all left. I blocked them all before sending my parents a message to never again contact me in my life, even if one of you is dying. I cried for some more time, went through some dog videos, and went through all my messages on Reddit, and I feel like I owe you guys this update because it was you guys who helped me do this. That is all, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Final update, 10 days later. I want to thank you all for taking your time and reaching out and giving advice. The last few days, I feel like a burden was lifted off of me, especially for my parents who always expected many things from me. The first day after the confrontation was a train wreck. My parents forced relatives to reach out to me asking me to see reason. I declined. They stopped after 2 days after a harsh message from me requesting no contact. I also took appointments for family planning, vasectomy, which is next month. Some people asked if I would ever tell my family about this, but I will not. My body, my business. I will of course tell potential future dates that I am child-free and also had a vasectomy beforehand. And some people ask me where I am from India. So, as he mentioned at the end there, it's his body, his business, but I feel like if you just told the parents, hey, I literally cannot have kids, all of this probably would have been prevented. I'm not excusing the parents' behavior. I'm not excusing the way that they've treated him throughout his whole life, but I feel like if he just said, hey, I literally cannot do what you're asking of me, then this wouldn't have happened. But what do you think? Would you have told the family and just watched their facial expressions as you told them you literally can't have children? Or would you have been like, nah, screw you, you don't deserve to know that, deuces? Next story. Story number 4. Am I the a-hole for throwing away my girlfriend's dead best friend's t-shirt? I know it sounds bad, but hear me out. My girlfriend lost her best friend of 10 years her senior year of college. They had gone through a lot together, but the best friend had some untreated mental health issues and she lost the fight against her depression. My girlfriend was the one who found her. They lived together at the time. This caused my girlfriend to spiral. She wound up helping the parents go through her stuff. She now has a box of old journals that were her best friends. They had a pact that if one dies, they wouldn't let anyone else read them. Too embarrassing or something. A t-shirt, some art she had done, and a bunch of scrapbooks. My girlfriend was in a dark place for a long time. I met her a couple years after the incident, and it's taken time, but she has gotten better. She was and is in counseling for grief and other stuff. She used to talk about the friend constantly, but now it's down to every once in a while. Now, generally, when I clean, I take stuff and put it in a bag and tell her to go through it before I throw it out. Today, I was going through our closet and was making donate/throwaway piles. I asked her to go through it when I was done, but she had a lot of work and said it was probably fine. She generally doesn't care too much about her clothes, and I think she was overwhelmed. Well, I threw out the stuff that was worn and old and ripped, etc. Then after I showered, my girlfriend came yelling at me, demanding to know where the t-shirt is. I asked her what t-shirt, and she said the one belonging to her dead best friend. I asked if she lost it, and she said no, it was in the closet. So then I said it might have gotten thrown out, and she just started screaming at me. I said I asked her to go through the piles, but she said no. But then she said that it should have never been in the piles given how much she has talked about the friend, and that apparently she told me the story behind the t-shirt. I don't recall it. I knew there was a story, and I knew there was a t-shirt, but I never paid enough attention to which shirt. Well, she is now taking a bag to her brother's. I just don't get why she is so upset. She has all of these other things to remember her friend by. A t-shirt isn't that big of a deal. Update. So, with my last post, I figured I owed you guys an update. I had apologized at the time, but I didn't think I screwed up that badly. At this point though, some of this stuff felt excessive. I was the one going through our shared closet because we have been doing a deep cleaning of the apartment. As far as getting rid of her stuff, I was only throwing out stuff that was clearly ripped. She was aware this was happening. I did try to get the shirt back, but by the time I got there, the trash had been picked up. I called the company, but they said it was gone. After reading some comments, I called the best friend's parents. My girlfriend still goes over around the holidays, and briefly explained what had happened. They said that over the past year, they have been downsizing and went through her stuff and got half donated, but the other half was sitting in her sister's attic in a box if I wanted to ask her. I called the sister, told her what happened, and asked if there was anything she would be willing to let my girlfriend have. She said she has a couple of sorority shirts that she would be willing to give her, and apparently the friend had 2 necklaces and she would be willing to give my girlfriend one. I said that would be great. I'd talk to my girlfriend and let her know where to send it. I drove to the brother's house to talk to my girlfriend. When I got there, I hadn't even gotten out of the car before her youngest brother and cousin came out and just started screaming at me. Her cousin said I had no right to have any opinion about the best friend, that she was some amazing person, and I had been so disrespectful about her. He then said that if her best friend were still alive, she would have talked my girlfriend into dumping me years ago. I felt that was uncalled for. Her brother started telling me to go to hell, that I was always jealous of the best friend, and that I need to get off his property. I tried to explain I was here to fix it, but he wouldn't even let me see my girlfriend. Apparently, she is in rough shape and had to take days off work because she is having some kind of meltdown. So, I left. I got home and I got a call from the sister. I picked up and I don't know what my girlfriend told her, but she laid into me and said I was some unforgivable a-hole stomping over her sister's memory. She said she would be more than happy to send my girlfriend the items we talked about, but to her brother or grandmother's house since I can't be trusted. A couple of hours later, I got a text from her saying it's over and she is breaking up with me. Her brothers came by an hour later to get her stuff, and she's now refusing to take any of my calls. So, for those of you who hoped she would dump me, you got your wish. I couldn't imagine breaking up with her over this, especially since we were together for almost 3 years, and she can't even answer her phone to dump me? Seems like we've got a little bit of a misunderstanding going on. Should OP, the boyfriend, have done what he did? No. Could the girlfriend have at least looked through the thing? Yeah, but you know what? Like he said, she was probably busy. I'll give OP credit though, he went out of his way to try and rectify the situation and find some other items, but then the family got involved and then I guess just started spreading lies or were told lies? I don't know, but what can you do? And I feel like this story deserves an update. But anyway, that's the video. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye-bye!